if my own strategy this time around is that I am going to support a northerner in 2027.
Really?
Yes. And it must be my condition to the northerners. It must be a northerner that the whole north will be willing to support.
Like an ATIKU.
If the whole north is willing to support an ATIKU, why not?
Or a Tambuwal.
If the whole north is willing to support, why not?
Or an Erufai.
Good. The person must be qualified, must have experience, and if he has experience in the presidency, it's an added advantage. And when we put up anything from the south, that will push him through. Let me tell you.
But would that be fair? Would that be fair that there was an 8 years of Buhari,
Good.
a 4 years, if the case is the way you have put it, of Bola TINUBU, and then now the South has not had a share of 8 years in a rotation understanding of Nigeria, politically speaking? Would that be a fair game?
Good. Thank you for this question. And let me use this opportunity to clarify. The term of the president is 4 years, not 8 years. According to Alex Ekweme, what they agreed initially is that this post will be rotated amongst the geopolitical zones for a 4-year term. And it will, in 24 years, it will have completed. But when Obasanjo came in, that was why Ekweme contested for 2203 election. That was when he said it. When Obasanjo came in, he took 8 years. But what happened? When Yaradua came in, before he finished one term, he died in office. Did the North insist that he must finish his 8 years? The answer is no. You know why? It is one term for the president, and the 8 years is for the incumbent. If the incumbent is doing well, if there is a supervening event that stops an incumbent halfway, the other half is there for every Nigerian to contest. And if it goes to the other side will now spend 4 years. That was what happened between Yaradua and Goodluck Jonathan.
In 2027, it is the people of Nigeria versus APC. ADC is simply the platform for the people of Nigeria to choose alternative good leaders, so that this 419 party called APC should be consigned to history.
Kenneth shocks the Obidients. And the question is, why is he now backing Northern presidency over Peter Obi? Why is he now turning down his own words? Let's begin with the analysis. In Nigerian politics, alliances are never cast in stone, and loyalty is often redefined by the compass of ambition and evolving national realities. But sometimes, a political shift hits differently, not because it was unexpected, but because of who made it happen. I mean, Kenneth is a man who emerged as one of the loudest and most passionate voices in Peter Obi's 2023 presidential election. He has now taken a controversial and eyebrow-raising stance. In a recent political commentary, he did not only advocate for a northern presidency in 2027, but he went further to suggest that if the ADC, that is African Democratic Congress, zones its presidential ticket to the south, that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu would effortlessly secure a second term. That is not just a statement. That is a political thunderbolt, and it's one with massive implications. But my question is, what is this obsession with attacking Peter Obi's ideology? What is this obsession with people coming after Peter Obi? We have the opposition coming after him. We have the APC coming after him. We have people from all round corners coming after him, talking about Peter Obi. I mean, he's not the president. Why Peter Obi in everyone's mouth? Let's move on with today's analysis. Today, we will unpack this moment from every angle. The motive behind Kenneth's position, his decision, the power rotation narrative, the real message he's actually trying to send to Peter Obi and the Obidient movement, and what this means for the broader 2027 political landscape. Buckle up, because what you're about to hear is not your usual mainstream analysis. This is the untold layer beneath the headlines that you will not hear from anybody. I mean, some people would question, does this whole northern people not supporting Igbos have anything to do with the fear of the incidents behind the 1966 coup that they had always tagged Igbo coup? I mean, it's seeming to me that the northerners are yet to forgive or to refute the claim that that 1966 coup was an Igbo affair. why are things going this way? But then we should also not rule out the fact that Peter Obi was actually truly supported in the north. I mean, Abuja, he got more than 60%. He did well in Nasarawa, Taraba. He did well in Plateau, a lot of many northern states. And that being said, why is Kenneth coming this angle to justify the possibilities of northern people not trooping support to Peter Obi, particularly as an Igbo man? When Kenneth Okonkwo joined the Labour Party and threw his way behind Peter Obi in 2023, it was not just another political endorsement, it was very symbolic. I mean, a well-respected Nollywood actor turned legal practitioner and politician, Kenneth Okonkwo became a media frontliner and passionately articulating the Obidients movement message across TV stations, town halls, and rallies. He stood toe-to-toe with seasoned political analysts, defending Obi's candidacy with eloquence and fire. But in politics, passion can only go so far. When reality knocks, strategy often answers. Kenneth's recent position suggests that he may have come to a sobering realization that unless there is a radical shift in political movement, Peter Obi or any other certain candidate may not have a chance to realistically, win the 2027 presidential election. To me, let's put emotion aside and examine his point from a structural perspective. Nigeria's political power sharing system, though informal, operates on an unwritten rule of zoning, a rotational understanding between the north and the south. Of course, in 2023, power shifted to the south with TINUBU's victory, but the north remained Nigeria's numerical and voting powerhouse, controlling large electoral blocks and consistently delivering massive voter turnouts. Kenneth's support for a northern candidate in 2027 may be based on this silent fact. First, the north may demand to reclaim power, especially after feeling shortchanged in post-Buhari era. Secondly, a fragmented southern front with multiple parties fielding candidates would split the vote and hand TINUBU a second time on a platter. And for any other southerner to actually emerge, to bear any ticket of any political party, it would likely turn out to be a Christian. And we all know in this country that the issue of religion actually plays a lot in politics. So the northerners would likely embrace TINUBU unless the opposition parties, including the ADC and the Labour Party, build a northern alliance. They risk being politically irrelevant. So in Kenneth's mind, this is not betrayal, but it's a political realism from his own end. What is the bigger picture? Some analysts believe Kenneth Okonkwo might be preparing for a future defection or alliance. His body language and tone suggest someone who is no longer touring the Labour Party line, has obviously resigned from the Labour Party. Is he now joining the ADC in this regard to, pursue his political, ambition? Is he aligning with the northern-led third force, or is he simply airing a strategic warning that no one else dares to stay? Whichever it is, he is signaling a break from the echo chamber. And whether you agree or disagree with him, he has reopened the debate on how the 2027 election could play out. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. Could this also be a coded message to Peter Obi? Let's not forget, in politics, people should always try to understand the dynamics. Kenneth Okonkwo's coming out to pull out whatever he's actually pulling out today shouldn't be a surprise to anybody, because politicians always try to be, corny. They try to, serve themselves. They try to believe in whatever they seem to, whatever that would actually work out for them. And it shouldn't be a surprise. It shouldn't, add this. It shouldn't attach emotion to this. The truth is, Peter Obi is reportedly eyeing another run in 2027. His supporters remain hopeful, but Kenneth's recent words seem to challenge that optimism by warning that ADC zoning its ticket to the south would only empower TINUBU. Kenneth is essentially undermining any southern candidate's viability, including Mr. Obi himself. This may signal first a loss of confidence in Peter Obi's electoral pathway or his political pattern or whatever. Secondly, It's veiled a message to the Labour Party, either re-strategize with northern inclusion or prepare for another defeat. Thirdly, a potential exit strategy from Obidients movement. So what is really at stake? Kenneth's comments also speak to a deeper crisis of unity in Nigerian opposition. As 2027 election inch closer, opposition forces, Labour Party, ADC, PDP, are still fragmented, obviously. So no clear alliance, no coherent zoning strategy, and no shared vision. Meanwhile, the APC machinery remains intact and well-funded, with TINUBU positioned as the default southern incumbent. If the opposition fails to build a unified, possibly northern-led coalition, TINUBU walks into Asorok again, and that is uncomfortable truth the Kennet Okonkwo is actually trying to highlight. I mean, one that many in South are unwilling to hear. The question, is Kenneth playing the long game? There is another way to interpret this. What if Kenneth isn't ditching Obi, but pivoting to increase his own national relevance? I mean, consider these factors. First, by embracing the North, he positioned himself as a national figure rather than a regional loyalist. Secondly, he could be eyeing a VP slot or party leadership role in a new political arrangement. Or perhaps he is building political capital among northern elites, preparing for a larger role in Nigeria's post-Obi era. In that case, this is not a betrayal, but evolution. So this is my submission. Looking at Kenneth Okonkwo's recent remarks, it have actually sparked outrage among some Obidients, confusion among political analysts, and curiosity within the ruling elite. But more than anything, it has reminded us of a painful political truth. In Nigeria, elections are not won by emotions. That is what you should go home with. Social media campaign doesn't win election or moral superiority. They are won by alliances, strategy, and structure, and even geography. As 2027 approaches, the battle will no longer be just about personalities. It will be about coalition and concession. Those we adapt will thrive. Those we cling to idealism alone may fall by the wayside. Kenneth may have just chosen to adapt early. As we move forward, one question must be asked: Is Nigeria ready for a true opposition, or just another election cycle of a fragmented ambition? Also know this: in Nigerian politics, no move is accidental, and no statement is made in isolation. Kenneth Okonkwo's recent comments are not just a rejection of Peter Obi's strategy. They are a redirection of political energy towards what he perceives as the winning formula in 2027. And that is Kenneth for you. And that's what Kenneth have become. I mean, some people would also argue that Kenneth Okonkwo is likely to even decamp back to APC if it is possible. So there is always a room for political dynamics in Nigeria. It's not just in Nigeria, it can happen anywhere. I mean, you see people today jumping from one political party to another, some of them trying to, get shade, some of them trying to, remain influential, some of them try to seek for political appointment and, national relevance. A lot of things are actually playing out on what happens. And that's why you see a lot of governors trooping, decamping to APC and all that. So there are a lot of factors that is actually making them to make such a move. So party loyalty has died in Nigeria completely. But I have this to say: as the dust settles on yet another political twist in Nigeria's evolving story, the attacks on Peter Obi from outside forces and now even from a former ally like Kenneth Okonkwo represent more than a clash of opinions. I mean, they signify a moment of reckoning, a painful reminder that in Nigerian politics, loyalty is really permanent and conviction are often negotiable. But Peter Obi's journey has never been the typical one. Everyone knows that he's not a creature of the establishment. He's not a man molded by the machinery of transactional politics. He rose not by godfathers, but by the goodwill of the people. Because the question is no longer just about Peter Obi. The real question is about what he represents. And for many Nigerians, especially the youth, he became more than a candidate. He became a vessel for possibility. But in a country where the system is engineered to resist integrity, every such vessel is tested, and now we are watching that test play out in real time. Critics are growing bolder, allies are falling silent, or even turning away. The fire of the obedient movement, once loud and thunderous, now some are beginning to ask, was it all in vain? The answer is no, it was not. Real change is never instantaneous. History doesn't bend overnight, and great movements are never judged by one election or one betrayal. They are judged by what happens after the applause fades. This moment is not just about Peter Obi's trial. Don't forget to subscribe, give it a like, and share it with others who might benefit from it.